What is up, Flyover family? Today we have a lot to talk about, including the 28-3 over the win over the Giants. General Eagles news, lots of, we might sign this guy, how he's talking to this guy, etc. A lot of bonus content such as hot takes, channel updates, and even a mini Bengals preview, so stand by, we're just going to fly out into it. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about the offense for the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. Obviously, Barkley was the MVP of the game. 17 carries, 176 yards, 10.4 yards per carry on the average. One touchdown, and then Jalen Hurts. You obviously could put him in second or third place or however behind Barkley and A.J. Brown, but 10 for 14, one passing touchdown, two rushing touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 119.3, and also a pretty nice pass from to A.J. Brown on 4th and 3. I'm pretty sure it was like a 40-plus yarder, like I said. So Saquon, he was being selfless. Nick Sirianni came up and said, hey, you're like 13, 14 yards away. He said, no, let the young guys eat. Let Kenny Gainwell get some, etc. Absolutely respectable. You love to see that. A little bit of respect gained for Nick Sirianni. Offensively, I'll say coaching was a C+. Player performance was an A-. Hurts did not turn over the ball one time. Barkley, I don't think there's any crucial drops. Obviously, he was a monster. A.J. Brown, monster. Devontae Smith, he did his thing, whether it be a decoy or however, a couple little catches here and there. He did his part. So definitely, good to see. I think this game said more about the Eagles' offense because of the fact that the Giants, have at least by the time we played them, they had the most sacks in the NFL. So the fact Jalen Hurts did pretty good up against that, and our O-line did pretty good against that, I think it says more for the offense comparatively to the defense. Now let's turn to the defense. There's a lot of good performances out there. I think this is the first beast game by Nakobe Dean. In previous games, oh dang, he looked trash on multiple plays, or oh dang, he missed this tackle or whatever the case. But 11 tackles, 2 sacks, got after the quarterback. Pretty good game for him. Build off it. Get momentum for it. Things of that nature. Keep building, moving forward. So Zach Bond, he had 6 tackles. Darius Slay had 4 tackles. It seems like he's getting injured almost every game. Like leaves with knee injury, leaves with ankle injury, whatever. Dude just retired, not worth $10 million just to get hurt every single game. It's like, man, the Maddox big toe, man, it is getting contagious. DeJean, he had 4 tackles. Jalen Carter, this is his back-to-back game. This is a second straight game, including the one with the Cleveland Browns where he's had a sack. This is his 3rd sack of the season. Blankenship had 4 tackles. Quinyon Mitchell had 3 tackles. Nolan Smith, he has 2 sacks on the year, but this is his back-to-back game with sacks, including the Cleveland Brown game. Isaiah Rodgers, he had a couple tackles. Bryce Huff, this is his 2nd game in a row. Trash O-line or not, he deserves credit because we haven't seen nothing from him versus good, bad, and indifferent, or however the case. So Sweat, he has 3 sacks on the season. It's also a back-to-back sack game for him. Jalen Hunt, he's definitely shown why, it was a good thing to pick him in the 3rd round with a sack. Much respect to him. I think there's going to be lots more. I just think he needs more playing time, but he's explosive. He's good off the line. He has good instincts. He can also play in coverage, due to his safety experience. So, heck yeah. All that being said, lots of respect to him. They put up ridiculously good numbers. You know what I'm saying? 8 sacks in one game. That's pretty freaking good. But at the same time, I'm not going to overreact it for 3 crucial, important reasons. Number 1, both teams had garbage offenses. Daniel Jones and Deshaun Watson. Garbage. I'm sorry, garbage. I'm sorry to tell you. Offensive lines, I'm pretty sure, in terms of their offensive lines, I'm pretty sure they're up in the top 5, top 10 for most pressures given, most sacks allowed, or however the case may be by the O-line. I'm pretty sure they're both in the top 5, top 10. And plus, we haven't seen enough of our defense versus quality offenses. The loss to the Bucks, things of that nature. I think that was our last test. Not to say we're done for the season, but if things, if things keep going up, the season's definitely not done. So, like I always say, it's a week-to-week league. Anything can change, but like I said, I like the numbers we put up, definitely. But they were versus two straight garbage offenses. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. On one hand, I don't want to overreact and say, "Oh, dang, the season's good, but we're winning it all," or however, based off of beating two bad offenses. You know what I'm saying? And our offense still sucking in the first quarter. I can't be blind to that. But at the same time, I can't help but have a little bit of hope, a glimpse of hope. Like, okay, maybe they're turning it around. Maybe, you know, if we can dominate the Bengals, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe if we can dominate them like 28-3, 28-5, or 30-5, or whatever the case may be, if we can have that type of game versus the Bengals, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, etc., you know, then you know, I'll feel like, man, you know, maybe we might just be a different team than last year. Maybe you know, we learned our lesson, or however the case may be. Has it happened yet? No. Am I saying it will? I don't know. But if that's what happens, if we beat them in a similar fashion, like dominate, you know what I'm saying? Then hey, you know, maybe, just maybe, you know, Howie and the organization may have learned a lesson as a whole. But who knows? Game conclusion, Jalen stacking up the clean games back-to-back. Again, I think both teams had pretty good defenses. Obviously, Myles Garrett, you know, in terms of a defensive line, the guy who can blitz Jalen. Oh, Jalen can't read a blitz. I mean, he did pretty darn good versus Cleveland. So, definitely, you know, think he had a pretty good 2-game stretch. Hopefully, he can, you know, make it a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-game stretch. But I mean, who knows? Everyone's saying that they're complaining about him, you know, going down or however instead of taking the sack or whatever. I'd rather him go down and throw an interception or potentially get injured on a sack. That's my personal preference. Because for me, I mean, him throwing a turnover or, you know, any Eagles quarterback, because I bleed green or however the case, you know, if the Eagles quarterback throws a turnover, throws a pick, that's almost as bad as getting blown out, in my personal opinion. It's humiliating. After Barkley sacrificed, you know, I mean, he easily could have got that 13 yards, you know, good career high, however the case. You know, can't help but feeling like, man, you know, we got to get him a ring. You know what I'm saying? He's making all the right decisions. He's doing the right things. You know, man, got to get him a ring. You know, make it worth it, you know, for him to leave New York or however the case. If we're just one and done like last year, then, I mean, I don't know. Coaching definitely looked better after quarter one. Obviously, preparation sucks. Like the first, you know, 2 drives or however the case, absolute garbage. Then they started to smooth it out or however. Again, I chalked it up to coaching and lack of preparation. But yeah, I mean, Nick Sirianni still has to go. I don't care. Defensively speaking, like I said, can't say too much, not due to not seeing enough of this defense versus good offenses. But I mean, like I said, but good stats in terms of, you know, shout outs or however. I think Cooper DeJean played really well. Jalen Hunt played really well. Jalen Carter played really well. Sweat played really well. Jacoby Dean played really well, and Zach Bond both played pretty well. I do know. I think there's only 2 people or 3 people out of the current like practices and whatnot. I'm pretty sure it's just not Zach Bond. He was back today with his shoulder, but Dallas Goedert, I know he's out, and then Jordan Malott. I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 like main guys that are out or however the case. But in terms of starters, but yeah. Now in terms of like a mini preview for the Bengals game, I honestly think that essentially, as long as we play to our strengths, just continuously run the ball and things of that nature, I think we should be fine. They're 22nd in run defense. I think we're like top 5 in running and actually like running the ball or however the case. Because they're 22nd overall offense. They're 17th against the pass, 21st against the run. And in terms of offense, they're 15th in total points, which means they're average at scoring pretty much. 10th in points, 28th rushing, can't really run the ball. 9th on third down, pretty darn good on third down or half the case, but we're number 6th in terms of stopping third down plays. 8th in total passing yards, so, I mean, we have the majority of the advantages or however. I mean, their offense is pretty freaking good, but I mean, I think defensively, that can cause it to be a blow. I think if Jalen plays well or however the case, puts up 28 to 30 points, you know, I mean, and the defense has a similar night, then, I mean, you know, should be a pretty dominant game. But obviously, it's anybody's league sort of thing. Anything can happen. But speaking of which, more Eagles news. Currently, Eagles release Paris Campbell and put him on the practice squad. Signed Siakai Ika to the practice squad as well. And Jack Driscoll was placed on the active 53-man roster. Reddick ends his holdout with the Jets. He was seen at practice. Devin White, he was seen at at the Texans practice. He just got signed by them. There's been a lot of trade talks, things of that nature. We'll get to specific phone calls made here in a second, but the Eagles have been linked heavily to Myles Garrett, Cooper Kupp, Von Miller, Buda Baker, Chase Young, Zadarius Smith, and Harold Landry III. That's all according to Bleeding Green Nation, Sports Illustrated, NBCS Philadelphia, and CBS Philadelphia, etc. Jalen Hurts said that the tush push is a part of Philly's identity and people got to accept it. So I think that's talking to the Philly fans or however. That's like, oh, I don't like that play. It's an ugly play. Just have Saquon run it or however. He's saying, well, screw it. I mean, that's part of who we are. You just got to accept it. You know, we're a bully physical team, and that's a bully physical play. We have the O-line to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and for the most part, Jalen's been healthy for the most part. And based on what he said, he didn't say I didn't trust my receiver, so I'm not putting words in his mouth. But what he did say is that his relationship with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, you know, came in part by gaining that chemistry and gaining that trust. So what it sounds like to me is that he doesn't just throw it to anybody or whoever. He has to build trust with that receiver. Nothing wrong with that. But if you need to win, sometimes it can hurt the team or whoever. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a trustable wide receiver. Nothing wrong with that at all. Also in Eagles news, Eagles are seemingly converting Ben Sumrin into a fullback. It seemed to work versus the Giants on some big runs for Barkley and Gainwell. We'll see how much it works. I do not know exactly how much they're going to use it or however the case. But like I said, we'll see how much they will use it and how much it'll work and all that good stuff. But hopefully the role grows and hopefully, you know, he dominates it or however. You know, obviously everybody that's an Eagle, I hope they become the greatest of all time at their positions. But I don't expect it. I'm not like going to act like they are or however. But yeah, final thoughts being, I think the Bengals will be the real first test for the defense to see if it's actually improved or if they just beaten on bad teams. On one hand, I think that's kind of what we needed, was to beat up on a bad team or however the case to maybe get us some momentum. But then on the other hand, what if they think, oh, everything's going to be easier? However, I can't read their mind. I'm not a mind reader or however the case, so I'm kind of, I don't know, sort of thing. So definitely will be a big test for the defense or however the case. You know, like I said, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, etc. So like I said earlier, if we can dominate the Bengals personally, you know, I'll think, you know, that maybe we turned a corner. Maybe it's a different team. You know, maybe, you know, the team did change things. Not that I think it's needed, but I hope Jalen has a big game, like, you know, 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown or 2, maybe a brotherly shove or 2, or however the case. I hope so. Not expecting, but I just hope. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, no turnovers of any sort, no lost fumbles, no interceptions, or however the case. But yeah, overall, I just want to see my Eagles succeed and things of that nature. I also want to point out that, like I said, we have to start off running the ball. You know, because our Eagles defense, the Eagles defense is 10th in total yards, 10th in passing yards, 14th in rushing, just about average in terms of defending the rush, 7th in points allowed, 6th on converting on third down, stopping the third down. Sorry, we're better on defense by far, according to the score. You know, in multiple sites, it looks like the numbers are just about the same. They're just more efficient through the air. They're just a better passing team. But like I said, you know, we're better at running the ball. If Jalen doesn't turn the ball over and the D-line plays well, I think that's our key to dominating or in any way, shape, or form winning with any sort of like, heck yeah, that was a good win sort of feeling or however. I think those are the keys to that. So yeah, that being said, I have a couple hot takes of the day. Whatchamacallit? The D-line specifically, so far, has only been good against bad teams. The reason why it's a hot take, I mean, there's still 10 plus games, anything can improve, but based on what I've seen, it could be considered as a hot take. I don't know. But so far, our defense, specifically D-line, has only been good or dominant against bad teams. Again, against, you know, struggling O-lines specifically. New York Giants had a bad O-line, and so did Cleveland. And then, whatchamacallit? Baker Mayfield, obviously he beat us or however the case, you know. I mean, there's just so many, like, at the same time, I mean, you know, definitely just got to see more. But at the moment, I'm just a passionate fan with an opinion. Like I said, it's definitely a big test for the Eagles defense as a whole, but mainly just the D-line or however the case. Now for channel updates, last but not least, I will be adding some more content, such as reaction videos. I like react to, like, Eagles' greatest highlights, Jason Kelsey's greatest highlights, etc. If that's something you guys would be interested in, please comment down below. More live streams. Like I'm planning on reacting to more games. I may have like a college channel or however the case, just depending on how that goes. I'm in the research and development phase of making like merchandise or however. I'm looking into making shirts. I'm like designing my shirts, figuring out what I want to put on the shirts. Because I just want to expand. I want to grow. I want to have like a whole Philly family on here, to talk to you guys, just have fun, and whatever grows from there happens. But like I just do it just for the love of the game and the love for my Eagles. So yeah. Before I go, a little bit more facts for you guys. Dan SILEO, according to his Twitter, he tweeted that the Eagles general manager Howie Roseman has in fact already made calls for Zadarius Smith, Brown's defensive edge. Maybe he's the next Bryce Huff. He has 4 sacks. He's putting up numbers, but is it just because he has somebody else to make him look good? Myles Garrett, oh dang, I don't want to run towards Myles Garrett. If I was the average team or however the case, not everyone's Chiefs, not everyone's the Eagles, not everyone has a great O-line. So I mean that has to have part to do with it or however. So I think you're going after the good guy's little brother, that's not as good and cheaper and all that. I don't think it's gonna work. But Emmanuel Ogbah, absolute bum, about to be 30-31, something like that. And Walker Little, heard a lot of good things about him through my research. He was a good, left guard or however the case. Definitely wouldn't mind that, but I'd ultimately rather see another pass rusher ultimately. Yeah, overall, I just wish the best from Philadelphia Eagles. That's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. The Eagles have been using, just in case if I didn't, the Eagles have been using Bedrin Sumarin as a fullback. Reddick ends his holdout. And we've been linked with a lot of people in terms of trade rumors and all that. Like I said, Myles Garrett, Emmanuel Ogbah, and just a bunch of different names or however the case. But like I said, need a better, consistent pass rusher, however the case. Hopefully better head coach, but I mean that's probably in the offseason. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. God bless. Philly out. Peace.